Hey everyone, I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I figured this would be a perfect place to do it. And today we're going to talk about the points of divergence between No Earth and our Earth. And hi, my name's Eagle. I'm the publisher and line editor for No Earth Comics. And No Earth, I keep saying this, and I want to make sure that people get it if they only watch part of the videos. The No on No Earth stands for not our. So the complete name is Not Our Earth. And a lot of what we do is we figure that time is a river. And we use that as our main focus for how we do our timeline. And the idea is that time is going to alter itself and try and return to its original course. So this is something that winds up with convergent and divergent within our timeline. We wind up seeing a lot of the same events that happen on our Earth, but they happen because the timeline is going to try and maintain its original course. We're at the Lone Star Flight Museum in Galveston, Texas today, and I love old airplanes. I don't know enough about them, but I used to build models when I was a kid, and so places like this just really thrill me. And I enjoy just walking through them. And today I get to do just a nice leisurely walk and shoot a video. So count me as one happy bird. So the idea is that time is going to have a lot of similarities with our Earth, and we want it that way. Because we want things to be familiar to the people that are reading. We want our timeline to be familiar enough to where you're not feeling left out when you're reading. You're not feeling left out when you're reading the history. It's easy to see where the points of divergence and convergence are. And so we wind up with a lot of things that are different, and we wind up with a lot of things that are the same. For instance, World War II happened, and that's appropriate because we are in a museum that has a lot of World War I and World War II planes in it. You know, one of the things that you don't realize when you're looking at models and photographs is exactly how big these are. You think of them as being tiny, but they're actually very impressive when you realize that all of that is designed to do two things: put a man into the sky and put the weapons to go with him. So World War II is a huge part of No Earth history. I'm sorry about the camera swing there. My counterweight got out of whack. But it's a huge part of No Earth history, and a lot of that is going to be reflected in how different parts of the timeline look. If you haven't looked at the timeline yet, this is a good time to go ahead and do it. I'm going to put a link for it in the description below the video. But the timeline it's a dynamic document because we are changing it on a regular basis. Actually, that's not true. We're not changing it. What we're doing is we are adding to it. And part of the reason we add to it is when new books are proposed, we wind up a lot of times having to go in and add to the timeline in order to fill out parts of the history for books that are coming. By the way, All of these, none of these are static models. All of these are flying planes. And we're going to pan down here to the pans. And these are oil pans that they have on the floor to catch the leaking oil from the engines, because these engines actually work and they take these out for flights. Going to swing around here because we can't go any further, but there's some nice planes and a couple of Jeeps in the background. So the divergence is usually more dramatic than convergence, but as a timeline, we wanted something familiar. We wanted something that would actually make people more comfortable, because we do a lot to make people uncomfortable. We do a lot to make people have to go in and treat this like an alien world. I mean, let's face it, we've got wizards, we've got superheroes, we've got aliens, we've got it all. So in order to make all this hang together, we need points of familiarity. We need points. So most of the timeline looks pretty normal to people. And we get away with this by doing the convergence. I want to swing around where you can see this. So we get away with a lot, and we know it. It was part of the plan from the beginning. Sorry. Cutaway of the engine. So you can actually see just how big various parts are. Engineering is always something interesting to me. So, as writers, what we're wanting to do is provide a good bed to rest our stories on, a nice foundation. And the alternate history is always an interesting way of doing this. One of the things that we are fixing to be doing is we have picked up a number of artists over the last 6 weeks, and several of them are artists that enjoy doing technological drawings. So one of the things that we're wanting to do is start expanding some of the technological background of No Earth, and to do this we're going to wind up including technological advances, such as experimental aircraft that were actually production aircraft on our world. Were actually production aircraft on No Earth. They were experimental aircraft on this world, but actually made it to the front lines and such for No Earth. And things like that are going to be fun. You'll have to pardon me. I just geek out at places like this, and you know what? I'm not ashamed of that. That's just who I am. I enjoy things like this. We're walking by a Cobra gunship right now. We're going to take another swing by this nice big bomber. It's sometimes hard to get a good idea of the scale. But I think this will show you the idea of the scale. This is the tail gunner's position. And so we can see this is where the tail gunner would sit. Little tiny cupola there. The big 50s coming out the back. I'm sorry, those are 30s. But this is I'll swing back around here. Okay. So, No Earth is going to be growing. Let me just put this in the best analogy that I can. We started out as a pickup game. And, just at the local baseball diamond, we've picked up, now we've got a local hardware store making shirts for us. What we're going for next is to advance to the Bush Leagues. And eventually we want to make it to the bigs. The analogy is a nice solid one because right now we're technically amateurs. And I don't want to beat that particular horse too badly. Poor guy's dead already. But right now we're technically amateurs. And what we're trying to do is become professionals. And to do that, it's been my belief from the beginning that we needed to act professional, and so we've done that. But also that we needed to attract professional caliber people. And I should really do an entire video on the difference between being a professional and being professional. I've done a blog on it, it's on the website, but I should really do just that as a video, one of my rants one day. But there's a huge vision here that we're going to be exploring. There's a huge vision that we're going to be trying our best to fulfill. There's a promise inherent in the No Earth site that we're going to fill all of this in, that we're going to be the type of comic book company that people want to be part of. And that's something that I want more participation in. And that's going to be time in coming. We're doing pretty good on getting people involved. We're doing pretty good on getting people excited about this because there's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot that we're accomplishing that we said from the beginning we were going to accomplish. By the way, while a lot of people don't realize exactly how big airplanes are, a lot of people don't realize just how tiny an actual Jeep is. You could put this in the back of a pickup just about. So, the history of No Earth is something that we're going to be working a lot on in the coming months because right now we have 21 projects on our project board, and only 3 of those are returning titles. We've got War Mage, Johnny Reb, and The Law of the Jungle that we're working on issue number 2 of. But that's 3 out of 21 projects. The rest of the projects are all brand new comic books. And in order to make the promise of the shared universe happen, we have to go in and make sure that the history of No Earth, the timeline, and the articles all hang together. And so that's one of our big projects right now, is trying to make sure that this happens. Let's get something interesting in the backdrop here. We're walking under the wing of this beautiful, beautiful B-17 right now. You know, I've been paying so much attention to the B-17 that I hadn't noticed what this little bad boy is. This is a trainer. And this one's known as an AT-6T. And they don't have that designation on it, but this is a two-seater trainer. That's pretty cool. In any case, there's a lot coming. We're not sitting idle. We've been doing a lot of revamping on the way the behind the scenes works. We've been doing a lot on the way that No Earth as a whole works for both the user and the collaborators. One of the things that we're trying to do is make sure that we treat our creators as professionally as possible, and that is including making sure that they have all of the tools they need for a full collaboration. But keep an eye on us, because in addition to this line of videos, our comics are going to take off in January. It's my intention to be printing a new comic every month for the entire year of 2018. And for the year of 2019, I'd like to take that to 2 comics a month, if not more. In fact, we're not even going to put that as a goal, because I hope that we are at 2 or 3 comics a month well before 2019. But for right now, we're just going to make the goal of a comic every month for the year of 2018. And right now, with the production that we're doing, there doesn't look like any problem in making that goal. It doesn't look like there's going to be any serious hitch in that. We've got so many projects in development right now that are out of the script stage and into the art stage that, unless every single one of our artists develops carpal tunnel at the same time, we're golden. So, thank you for tuning in. And I hope you enjoyed walking around the museum with me. And we're going to talk again.